Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going deep on you today. I'm laughing, but I'm dropping some stuff. As these young folks say, I'm dropping some knowledge up in here and teach you how to get unstuck, how to reach your goals, how to use your voice, how to make money with your voice from home. More people are working from home than in buildings now. Before the coronavirus, the corporations found a way because of technology that people can work from home and they don't have to pay for those large buildings and their maintenance and the air conditioning or the heat. It's economically more feasible for people to work from home. Let's think about that. So this is the new economy that's being generated from home. You want to learn how to make money from home with your knowledge, with your skills, with your dream, with your voice, with your story. If you're ready to live life on your terms, come alive. You got some stuff. You're God's miracle child. You have some value. That's why you're still here. You think it's some accident that you still got a pulse, that you're not taking a dirt nap. Today is the best day of your life. What do you mean, Mr. Brown? I'm in debt up to my ears. What do you mean? I've got all types of illnesses, the conquers and the bunkers. What do you mean by that? If you don't think it's the best day of your life, try missing one. I didn't bite my tongue. I said, this is the best day of your life. Use it, take action to maximize it. Use it effectively. And when you think about yourself here, you have favor with God. There's some things we take for granted. Being here is not a given. You're here because you have a favor with God. You've been protected. You've been shielded. Nothing will prosper. None of your enemies, none of the adversities, none of the hard times in life, none of those things will conquer you, because greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You are more than a conqueror. Woo. That's a powerful word up in there. Yeah. And you're supposed to live right here, right now. But this is the time you got to learn some new stuff. Money is being generated in a new way. How do you know this? Because I make some of it every day. And I enjoy it. I feel better when I have money. Yes, I do. I don't have to take my blood pressure medication as often. Yeah, I feel so much better when I don't owe peoples. And I don't have to disguise my voice when they call me. May I speak to Les Brown, please? I'm sorry, but he's not here. Oh boy, I had that down pat. I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, they have caller ID now. We can see who's calling us now. Get ready to write a new chapter for your life. Get ready to live a life that will outlive you. Get ready to rob the cemetery of your gifts and talents and abilities. Get ready to be in a fight mode. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. Stuff's gonna happen to you. Things are coming after you right now. Tragedies, hard times, sickness, pain, all kinds of things are coming after you right now, including blessings, including opportunities. And you want to take advantage of the opportunity and the lifetime of the opportunity. Make a move for you. Make a move for your dream. Make a move for a better future. Don't sit there watching and wasting time looking at Netflix and all that other foolishness out there. A friend of mine said, oh man, I got 500 channels on my TV. Who's got time to watch 500 channels? Herein my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit. Excuse me? No. watching garbage day in and day out. How do you expect things to get better for you? People say, oh, garbage in, garbage out. That's a lie. Garbage in, garbage stays. It makes you unproductive. It makes you cynical. You get in a depressed state of mind. That's not real. Garbage in, garbage stays, and it shows up in your attitude, in your behavior. It blurs your vision of what's possible for you. It's a distraction. My son John Leslie was right, that people pay more attention to their distractions than their destiny. You have a destiny. There's something, there's a work, there's a greater work that you're supposed to do. These things ye shall do, and greater things shall you do. In fact, you are here to do the greater things. And if you don't know that, ask somebody. Watch people who are doing the greater work and get around them and learn from them. That's what time we're here. That's the purpose. Not here just to have a good time. Yeah, you can have a good time. I have a ball. I enjoy every day. When they come to see my ashes, they'll see me smiling from the ashes. Yeah, they cremate me to hear me say, ooh, stop, you make me randy, baby. He's got issues. Somebody get him some help, Tyrone. That's my squirrel friend. Tyrone said, you kicking some knowledge right now. I see, why you laugh so much? Because these walls are closing in on me, that's why. Because I can't go nowhere. The virus we've been fighting already, it's still here. And now they say there's a mutation, another that spreads easier and kills faster. So you want to know why I'm talking to squirrels? Do you really want to know that, huh? Why don't you come visit me? I'll see you through the window, and I'll put my water hose on you through my window. My doorbell ring. Who is it? Ooh, I have a window I look through. Guys, you got a box? Boy, they take off. I come out, I do it like this as I get my box. And the UPS man be looking at me and say, Lord, that would touch. I crack up when I come back in the house. I have on my little Mickey Mouse underwear. I thought by now somebody would call the police. Listen, there's a senior citizen. He's outside getting his boxes from UPS, and he got on some Mickey Mouse underwear. Can you help us out here a little bit? Indecent exposure or something. Oh my God. You know laughter is good for you. 1 minute of anger. I studied psychoneuroimmunology. Psycho, the mind, neuro, the immune system. Oh boy, the nervous system. I studied that. 1 minute of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. You ever notice when you get sick, people owe you money, they don't call much. They're praying that you die. So they won't have to pay. Say, well, he won't need that where he's going. I remember when I got sick when I was in Mamie, and Miss Range, she came to visit me. I said, Miss Range, she owned Range Funeral Home. I said, you know what, I appreciate your kindness, but I really don't appreciate you coming to visit me because I feel like you trying to check out my measurements. No, funeral directors and people who own funeral homes should go see people who are sick? Absolutely not. That's inappropriate. That's not nice. I thought she was checking me out. Woo, What's going on with him today? Sometimes you got to laugh. Yes, to keep from crying. I said, Lord, wake me up and tell me it's a dream. They got a mutation now to spread easier, and we got to watch out for that one, and we got to watch out for this one, and we haven't got enough vaccines and enough arms, and I got both my arms up now, and I'm scared. I put them back down because I'm scared if I get a vaccine shot, I might grow a new ear out of my neck. Ooh, ooh. No, man. Your story has value. Your voice has value. You got to learn in the new economy how to earn money virtually. And this is how you do it, how to come through this computer and be able to, in the attention economy, how to attract attention, how to hold the attention through the experience that you're able to generate, and how to direct it, how to influence it, and generate moolah. Well, boy, if you're willing to learn, the possibilities unlimited. The possibilities of what you can do. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. If you know how to attract attention, hold the attention, and direct the attention. Yeah, that's why it's a new economy, because everybody don't know how to do it. See, when you just give information, that only impacts 2 areas of the brain. But when you know how to create an experience with a story, with your personality, with your passion, with your laughter, with quotes, and a variety of other things, that impacts 5 areas of the brain. That fights dementia, Alzheimer's, and it makes you profitable. Yes, because there are people who want to invest in you. I just talked to someone who said, you know what? I want to put an extra $1 million in your pocket this year. I said, let the Lord have his way. Look at God. Yeah. I said, come on, brother. Oh, yeah. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Yeah, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. No. Sometimes you need some laughter, need a smile to distract you from all this stuff. You know, the air is different right now. The air is different. Maximize this. The drama has been minimized. It's just for a moment now. It's just for a moment, but you can breathe easier. You're not waking up saying anything happened today. No, it's just for a moment. Hard times have an expiration date, and so do good times. Let's take advantage of it. Let's get together and make something great happen. Let's get together. Let me help you get rich. Why? Because you feel better when you got some money. Do you hear me? Don't you let people tell you money is the root of all evil. People who said that didn't have any. No, he didn't go there. Yes, he did. Hello. How can he have so much energy at 75 and 76 on February the 17th? Because I love what I do. I love it. I love changing lives. I love making you laugh. I love making you feel good. I love inspiring you. I love challenging you to get out of your comfort zone. I love telling you, rob the cemetery of your talents, because somebody inspired me. This is what I was born to do. This is what I do. Nah, so don't be mad at me. What are these faces? I don't know. Okay. Ooh. All right, JJ. All right, Jonathan. Okay. Having a fat flashlight. Excuse me. A hot flash. I call them power surges. Have a wonderful day today. You deserve it, darling. This is your day. I didn't want to wait till 12 noon. I wanted to get it out now. And let me share this with you. I said it earlier. The people that you interact with most, your inner circle, I like to call it. If you look around your inner circle, family members and friends, if they don't inspire you to create the next greatest version of yourself, that's not a circle of power. That's a cage that's restricting your potential for discovering the next greatest version of yourself. Today, you have an opportunity. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve, to make a choice so that the future you, listen to me closely, the future you will say, whoa, I'm so glad that you made that choice. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. That's my story. Invest in yourself. You're worth it. People are looking for ways, and I think it's important that you stay in your lane. I know what I do. I speak and I train speakers, and you help people to have events that will allow them to monetize their dream. You do the marketing. You help get the butts and the eyeballs in front of the computer and help them to begin to take their success and their profits to another level. I want to ask, how did you get into this?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. COVID was a part of this too, because you know, for most speakers, as you well know, Les, it was all about trying to find someone who would host you on their stage. And that was the speaking game before COVID, right? Everyone went to a hotel or a conference center, or if they're as good as you, a stadium, right? And in order to speak to these massive crowds and impact as many people as possible. But when COVID hit, all of a sudden, as everyone well knows, all of a sudden, we couldn't meet anymore.
Right.
And at that time, I was in the middle of an event. We were about to have an event at a hotel room. We had all these tickets sold, and no one could come. The hotel called us and they said, you can't have your event here.
Wow.
And you got to understand, when you have an event, for those of you who are speakers or who desire to be a speaker, someone who puts an event on, they're spending tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or in some cases, millions of dollars to put the event on, right? And so before COVID, no one was able to do this. There was a very small set of people who were willing to make that kind of investment in order to have an event. Well, we had put a bunch of money down, and all of a sudden we had to repay all the tickets. And so I said to my partner, I said, well, why don't we try and host the event on Zoom, online? And he laughed at me. He said, nobody's going to sit on Zoom for 2 or 3 days to have an event. That's absurd. You can't have a 2-day long event. And I said, well, we're going to give the tickets back anyways. So we might as well try, and if they don't like it, we're going to refund anyway. So let's see how we can orchestrate virtually what we were trying to do live and in person before. And so we did it, and the first event, Les, we ever tried, we had our biggest sales day ever.
Wow.
And we were like, wait a second, how is this possible? Because they actually sat through it, and we were actually able to hold their attention. And we thought, I wonder if this would work again. And so we did it again, and it worked again. And so I was like, I wonder if it would work with other audiences. And so we started doing all these virtual events. And so now I'm in rooms like and masterminds with different leaders who it's the hottest topic among the highest echelon of people in the speaker and even marketing world right now. Everyone's doing events because no longer do you have to pay hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to do an event. You just have to gather the people on Zoom and do the event there. And it's changing the game.
It most certainly has changed the game. They're even doing Broadway plays online.
Amazing.
Come on. And so we've gone from brick and mortar to click and order. People can, in the comfort of their home.
No, you didn't. Go ahead. Go ahead and drop that.
Yeah, I had to drop that on you up in here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So people have a chance to be able to educate themselves, to acquire knowledge, to increase their value in whatever industry that they're in, to create a level of unity, even though They're geographically separated from their partners, from their organization, from their culture. And you do all the work that's necessary to put the eyeballs in front of the computer. Yeah. Tell us about your process and who is it that would be interested in partnering with you so that you can do for them what you're doing for me.
Well, look, I think everyone listening has now seen someone on the internet do a virtual event. If you're paying attention, you're probably seeing advertising about events. Tony Robbins just did a massive online event he called the Challenge. The great speakers or people who desire to be great speakers, even people with small audiences, Les, are now doing events. And it's not a lack of awareness, right? I like to say, for speakers, if you're a speaker or an aspiring speaker, it's not a lack of desire that's stopping you. It's a lack of direction. And so the direction that we give is there's really 4 parts to doing your own event, right? And the first thing is, I found, and Les, I'd love you to jump in on this, but I found for people who are trying to set big goals, because how many of you would agree 6 figures in a day, that's a big goal, or 7 figures in a day? That's a big goal, right? The first time, Les, I just got to tell you this. The first time I was with a client and we did $1 million in a day. I want to show you what that looked like. Let me show you what that looks like when you do $1 million in sales in a single day. Here's what it looks like. You would think that when I got off that call, that I was jumping around and running around and screaming in my house. I wasn't. Here's what I looked like. Just my head in my hands, just sat there and I was quiet. Because when you do $1 million day, you've got one question twirling around and around in your head. And here's the question.
What?
What have I been doing my whole life?
Whoa.
Think about all the time that's wasted, all the effort expended to get results significantly less than $1 million in a day. And when you realize, and so some people think, Les, when I say this, they think there were thousands and thousands of people on. No, there were 164 people on that call.
Wow. You know, they say opportunity knocks on every door, but I believe, and you believe, no. Opportunity stands by silently waiting for you to recognize it. Ladies and gentlemen, you just joining us. This is Joe Aaron, and Joseph has a formula. It's tried, it's proven. He takes all the guesswork out of it. And if you're ready to go to that next level, if you want to begin to earn money on steroids with your next event and the kind of experience that he creates, where people want to be a part of it and have their event and be able to transform their lives, increase their effectiveness and impact, he's the person that can get the job done. Tell them about how they can do that.
Well, listen, many times people will come on something like this, with you, Les, and, you're so inspirational. I was literally talking to a friend today, and their wife is struggling through cancer, and they're walking around, and he spends an hour a day as he walks down the road listening to recordings of you, because you've inspired and touched so many lives. And what I found,
when we get through talking, I want his number because I want to call and talk to him and his wife.
That's very kind. I'll do that. Many times I think people who feel a calling, a sense of purpose on their lives, will often imagine themselves as they fulfill their purpose standing on a stage. And they can see the crowd and they can feel the desire to impart something through their voice into that crowd. And so often I find that those speakers are waiting for permission.
Yes.
And I came to tell you today, you don't need permission anymore, because you can make your own stage.
Come on now.
The world has changed. You don't need permission. You just need to make a decision. And the decision is, I'm going to get my message out. I'm not going to wait on somebody else, Les, to tell me that it's okay for me to get my message out. I'm going to get my message out. I'm not going to wait for an invitation from somebody else to get my message out. I'm just going to get my message out. I'm not going to wait till everything is aligned and the economy is perfect to get my message out. No. Now is the time for you to get your message out. And so if you're serious and not just curious about getting your message out by literally creating your own event, which you can host on Zoom, you probably talk to grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, or the kids on Zoom. With that same technology, with the right system and the right process, you can now host, for many people, 6 and even 7-figure days serving your audience at the highest level. And so Eileen and I, my business partner, what we've done is, because so many people are unclear, like, what exactly do I do? We put together a 5-day training. Now, it's an hour a day. We have Q&A and stuff like that. We put together a 5-day training called $1 Million Speaker Challenge. And at the $1 Million Speaker Challenge, you're going to get 2 hours a day, step-by-step breakdown of exactly what you need to do so that you can create your own event. It's time for you to get out of the shadows and into the light. You don't need permission. You just need a decision. So I want to welcome you to make the decision today. How many of you are all in on becoming the speaker that you've been called to be, on doing the events of your own so that you can get your message out? How many of you are done waiting on permission and you're ready to go all in? Typically events like this, Les, if you came live, it'd be like $1,000 to come to an event like this. But because it's virtual and you can just do it on Zoom, it's just $97. Is that a good deal?
That's a great deal.
Yep.
My uncle said there's nothing as painful as an untold story buried in your soul.
Yes, sir.
This is a chance for people to get their message out. But there's something else you're saying here. There's no secret to success. There's this system, and you have perfected the system that will allow people, and you've already done it, to earn 6 to 7 figures doing an event.
We're seeing
this together.
Yes, sir. We're seeing pastors execute it. We're seeing newbie speakers doing it. We're seeing new entrepreneurs doing it. We're seeing influencers doing it. As a matter of fact, my business partner, Eileen, a lot of people think, well, I'm not sure what to say, or I'm not sure what I would sell. Guys, we've experienced all of this. There's a step-by-step process to decide, what am I going to sell? There's a step-by-step process to fill the room so that people are there on your Zoom room. My business partner, Les, the first event that she ever did, she had less than 10 people in the room, and she did a 6-figure day. So you don't need it to be massive, right? You just need to be executed according to the system. So if you're ready to go all in on executing the system that's already proven, all you got to do is go to less4speakers.com. That's less, like Les Brown, 4 speakers in the plural.com. And when you go to that site, you just scroll down the page, click the link. You can buy a recording and just get the recording. That's $500. Most people opt to go virtual, and it's just $97. And if you come live, we're going to do live Q&A with you. We're going to be there to walk you through all the steps, answer all your questions. And, it's just time. It's time for you. And I were talking, Les, and there's something you told me, and you're like, there's too many messengers out there who are silent.
Yes. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. But there's something else you said, and you were about to go into, and I apologize for interrupting you, 4 very important steps that's a part of this process. And you were about to get into it, and I distracted you. Talk to them about those 4 steps.
Yeah, step 1 is, we say, decide. Mm-hmm. And many people struggle to make a decision. And the reason they struggle to make a decision is because I found that I didn't even understand, Les, what a decision was and why it's such a struggle to make one. In people's hearts, especially people in your audience, how many of you would love to impact other people's lives the way that Les Brown has impacted your life, right? Well, the first step is always a decision. But we struggle, and it's like, why do I struggle, Les, with making a decision to make the impact that I feel called to make? Why do I delay? Why do I make excuses? Why do I struggle to go all in? And the answer is I realize that a decision, the word decision, comes from a Latin word. Is it okay if I share some Latin here? We get a little deep.
Please go up in there.
So the Latin root of decision is the word, you ready for it?
Yes.
Incision. And we all know what incision means. Because if that doctor comes up in your office or in your doctor's room and he says, I want to make an incision, you're like, oh no, you don't, doctor. You don't touch this body of perfection. I don't want to get cut nowhere, right? Nobody wants to get cut, right? The word incision is the root. It's decision, which means to cut off. Why am I saying this? Because when you decide to do one thing, you are also simultaneously deciding not to do an infinite number of other things, because you are a creator made in the image of God. And so you could decide to do anything. But when you make the decision, you feel tension because you feel like you're losing something. But the paradox of truth is that you must decide to give focus to one thing in order to truly succeed. And so step one is just to make the decision, Les.
And I single, and my whole body will be full of light. What's
Amen.
number two?
Number two is filling the room. Many people struggle. They're like, what do I do exactly to fill the room? And so we have a system, it's the fill the room system for the perfect virtual event blueprint. And once you have the system for filling the room and like the step-by-step process, all you do is run the play. And once you can run the play, it really doesn't matter. We usually will start you doing a smaller event just to test everything out. And you may only get 20, 30, 50 people there, right? And it's like, it's okay. Many of our clients will get 20, 30, 50 people there and do 6 or multiple 6 figures on their first try. Would it be okay if you got a little war chest first and then you're able to build off that? So that's step two. It's like fill the room. And everybody thinks, man, once I can fill the room, I'm good to go. But I'm going to be honest with you, Les, and you know this as well as I do. Sometimes they think if they fill the room, they can talk real good and then they're going to make some sales. And the reality is there's a very specific journey you need to take your clients through in order to help them go all in with you to the next step, whatever it is that you're going to sell, right? And so figuring out the offer and figuring out how to orchestrate your event to help people make the decision, whether it's good for them or not good for them for the end of the event, is key. And so that's what we call hosting the event. The whole process of hosting, not an event purely for motivation, although everybody, even if they don't buy, they're going to love it, right? The way we orchestrate it is buy or don't buy, they're going to be changed and transformed as a result of the experience. But typically 20 to 30% of the audience, when done right, will purchase your product or service at the end of that event. That's called hosting. And that's step 3. So first we had decide, then we had fill, then we had host the event, and lastly, we have what's called post event. After the event, many of the people are going to want to join your program. There is a specific strategic process for how to collect the money at the end. Les, I've literally had clients who've had hundreds of people who apply at the end of their event, but then because of the way they, well, how can I say it? Messed up the system on the back end, they ended up with 5 or 10 or 20. You're like, oh my gosh, how could you have 100 people wanting to buy and then only 20 people actually buying? And the reason is there's a system, right? And so we've perfected the system over countless events. I don't know how many events we've done, but a lot, so that finally we know exactly how to execute post event. Once the event is over, help as many people as are ready, willing, and able and are a good fit join your program. For those of you who are like, but Joe, I don't know what to sell. Don't worry about that. We'll show you how to solve that problem in the 5-day challenge.
Joe, you're taking all the guesswork out of it. And you're helping people to begin to monetize their dream and stay in their lane and let the operational process, the system that you have put together, leverage that in their behalf to put more moolah in their pocket. That's a wonderful thing.
I was homeless, Les, 3 times trying to fulfill my vision. I was serving a youth nonprofit near East St. Louis, Missouri, and started it from scratch and was serving hundreds of kids. But one of the problems I kept running into is I kept running out of money. And whether we like it or not, many times I'll talk to speakers and they're like, but Joe, I don't really care about the money. I just really want to help a lot of people. But the reality is that your income, your impact, and your influence are all connected. I would call them, they're in a codependent relationship. Your income will affect your influence. Your influence will affect your impact. And so many times we don't want to care about the incomes. We're like, I'm just about the impact. But if you bring the money in, you're able to then pay for the distribution of your message at a wider scale in order to impact more people. unless many people don't recognize the codependence of that relationship. And so they're not able to get their message out at the level that that they'd really like to. And it's only because they're missing the understanding of that codependence. And so I'm on a mission to help people multiply movements that matter. And if your movement matters, you're going to need capital. How do I know? Because I went homeless 3 times trying to do it without money, right? Your movement matters. Then you have you not only have a desire, you have an obligation to make as much income as you can to grow your influence and impact more people than you ever thought possible. And the best, fastest, most successful way to do that in 2022 is with virtual events.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, I'm talking with a gentleman who I have a strategic partnership with, and I'm encouraging you to do the same thing if you want to get your message out and be able to have a large audience and not just provide a venue for sharing information, but being able to create an experience that will transform people individually and collectively. And when it comes to putting on a virtual event, no one does it better than Joe and Eileen. Y'all got get the butter from the duck. That's what I'm talking about.
So I wonder, Les, who's made a decision? If you're listening to this right now, have you made a decision? Like legit, like sometimes, Les, I found myself in stages of my life where I lied to myself and I told myself I was serious about it, but I didn't take the step. And the step is scary. And the step right now is really simple. It's just go to less4speakers.com.
When you say 4 speakers, you're talking about the number 4 or F-O-U-R?
Less4, F-O-R, less4speakers, right? And we'll have a link here so that you can click it too. Less4speakers, F-O-R, speakers in the plural.com. Because less is for speakers. Les is on a mission to help speakers get their voice magnified and multiplied, because we've got a world to change, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we do. And it's something that Steve Jobs said. He said, the storyteller is the most influential person in the world. Storytellers are able to create a shift in the consciousness of people, to be able to penetrate the culture and to create a culture of love and harmony and people coming together, standing together and creating a healing for the planet. And this is the time for you, all of us, those of you who feel like, I've got a story. There's a movement that I believe in, and I want to use this platform to take me to that next level, to reach greater numbers of people. And nothing does it better than the system that Eileen and Joe have put together. And that's why I'm a part of them. And this is why I put my name and reputation on the line for them, because they get the job done. They get the butter from the duck.
And you got to get that butter from the duck. You don't want the duck leaving with this butter.
No.
Les, thank you so much. It's been such an honor serving your audience. Anything else I can answer for the audience for you?
Well, some people ask, well, what does it cost? How do I open up the relationship? Because it's about partnerships today. People come together, collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. How do people get involved and be able to leverage your knowledge, experience, and your achievements for themselves?
Yeah, I think one of the success principles for those of you who, for example, I was in a room this past weekend right near Las Vegas, and everyone in the room, Les, had paid $150,000 to be in that room.
Whoa.
Okay. So it was high-level achievers, people who were getting their message out. If I told you their names, many of you would know their names, because they're serious, not just curious, about making the impact they feel called to make. And one of the things I learned from the men in that room, he talks about immersion. And one of the success principles, wherever you're at in your life, you may not be in a place where you can pay $150,000 to get in that room. But the success principle that everyone in that room understood and was willing to pay $150,000 for was that if I could get in the room with other people who are succeeding at a high level and immerse myself in their thinking, instead of thinking my own thoughts, what if I could get immersed in the thinking of other people who are operating at the level that I want to operate at? And so the principle of immersion, I would say, is the first thing that I would recommend to everyone. And one of the ways you can immerse yourself into becoming a speaker who can host their own events and do big numbers, right? As many of our clients are doing 6, some of them 7 figures, some of them multiple 7 figures in a day. The way to do that is immerse yourself, to get in the room. Somebody say, get in the room.
Get in the room.
Right? And so we're not asking you for $150,000 to get in this room, but we want people who are serious and not just curious. And that's why we said, you know what? We're not going to charge $1,000 like you do when you come to a live event. We're just going to charge $97. And when you come to this room, you get to immerse yourself. Eileen and I are in there. It's not just us though. The network of other influencers, leaders, and people who are passionate about learning the skill, they're in the room too. And it gives you an opportunity to immerse yourself in that room, get your questions answered so that you can start shifting your beliefs, start shifting your mindsets, start shifting your skill sets so that you can execute on the play that is, again, the most successful play that's out there. Les, when I was in that room of 150, there were 13 or 15, I don't remember exactly, 13 or 15 of us all in that room. 95%, there's only one person I can think of in that entire room who was not doing virtual events. It is the play.
Yes. This has been a billion-dollar industry, and now it's evolving to a trillion-dollar industry rapidly. So those of you who are watching, those of you who are ready to leverage this system that Joe and Eileen have put together and takes all the guesswork out of your being able to do a very successful virtual event, this is the opportunity. This is the time. Now's the time to take advantage of that and put your success on steroids and begin to leverage earning 6 to 7 figures in a limited time span and using the system virtually. It's exciting, and you got to be hungry.
I'm encouraging you, don't rule it out. Say, well, I don't know if you can do it. Well, so what? Eye has not seen. What do you think that means? There's some things that you can do that you've never seen before. We're in a place now where we've never been before. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard. Knows in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. What's in you that you're able to do. That's why they have a term called breakthrough, that your life is a breakthrough moment. And so when I think about that and think about what I was going to share with you today, that this is the time. I have a friend named Dr. Stan. They call him Dr. Breakthroughs, Stan Harris. And he talks about living your life in a way in terms of having breakthroughs. And I think we should have those in various areas of our lives, that we must live with a sense of urgency, one, and two, and that's making every moment count. And the other thing is have breakthrough thinking. Look at ways in which in various areas of your life that you have breakthroughs, that you take your performance to the next level, that those things that you've been talking about and you've been operating at this level, but now you're at a place now, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take it to another level. When I was a kid, the high jump in the Olympics was 6 feet. And a guy named John Thomas was a brother who he was a high jumper and had the record in the world. And so during that time when you jumped, as kids, when we played in the backyard, we would have somebody hold a stick and you run and you would just jump over it. And then, but he developed a strategy. Most people were just jumping forward to jump over it. But he developed a strategy that you could sizzle, and what they call the sizzle, that you raise your leg and that front leg, and then the other leg come behind it, right? Then there's something that came along called the Fosbury Flop. Same event, but there's a guy, it was named after him. And when he jumped, he was able to raise his body high enough in the air, and he would go over the pole head first and bring the body behind him. Same event, but different strategy. And as a result of that different strategy, he was able to maximize his impact. He was able to jump 7 feet that you couldn't do it physically, just using the method that had been used or that approach up to that particular point. Now, tell me what you mean, Les. I'm trying to stay with you. Well, here's what I mean. That there's some things that you are doing and that you perhaps have not succeeded using the approach that you now have. And that many people, when they're going after their goals and dreams, they have failure after failure after failure because they are doing something in the same way. I think that's why Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And that's when I came to the concept, and I want you to get my book called You Gotta Be Hungry. And so what happened is that as you look at your life, a lot of people, when they fail over and over and over again, using the approach that they now are using, they stop. I'm suggesting change your approach, but don't change your decision. Am I making sense to you? Change your approach. Get some help. I believe ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. Because you've failed at it thus far does not mean that it can't be done by you. It's just that the approach that you're using now does not work. And there's some things that we're supposed to do that many people using the same method, the same team, the same relationships, the same information, the same approach, and they stop saying it can't be done. I remember as a kid, we used to say to illustrate whether or not someone can accomplish something and whether or not they could not, to illustrate the impossibility of them accomplishing something, we would say, oh, you got a chance of doing that as a man going to the moon. Shut up, get away from me. Hey, we've gone to the moon. We don't say that anymore because when I was a kid, it was seen as impossible for man to go to the moon. That's no longer a reality. The Wright brothers, when they were able to create a vehicle that was only up in the air for about 6 seconds. Up to that point, the belief was for centuries, man couldn't fly. Because if God wanted man to fly, he'd have given him wings. You will never fly. You're not a bird. Get used to it. You're not even a pigeon. Get used to it. Might be a pigeon in your thinking, but you cannot fly. That was the belief. But the Wright brothers, who came along, and their father was a minister, and that was his belief, they had breakthrough thinking, and they changed the approach on what it would take to transport our bodies in the air. You came here to do something. Some people know right away. Nina Simone, who climbed up on a piano at 5 and started playing by ear. Some people know right away of what that is. And there are some, the majority, because they have not been exposed or seen something, that they have the abilities of greatness that they have within them that they can do, but they have not seen anybody doing it yet. So they don't even try. That's why one of the most important things we can do for our children is expose them to things so that they can begin to see themselves in other people. When I was at Booker T. Washington High School, when I saw Mr. Leroy Washington, I was exposed to this man who said to me, young man, go in front of the room and work this problem out for me. Oh, sir, I can't do that. Why not? I'm not one of your students. Look at me. Yes, sir, go and do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. I can't, sir. And then the other students started laughing, saying, he's DT. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart. He's DT. He asked, what's DT? He's the dumb twin. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, "Don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality." And so how people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And because I was called the dumb twin, because when I was in the 5th grade, I was put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade, and Mrs. Mary Ford Williams, who was the principal at Douglas Elementary School in Overtown in Miami, came in and said, "Please point out the kids that are causing all of the problems." And I was among those. They can't learn. We're gonna put them in a special class by themselves. The kids called us the dodos. I was in the dodo ward. Bullying didn't just start. That's how they bullied us. We were in the dodos ward. We ate together and we were in the class by ourselves. We only went with other kids to the cafeteria at eating time, at lunchtime, and physical education. Other than that, the dodos were all in one room because the belief was we could not learn. We were dumb. And then this man spoke. Because now in your dodo ward, they don't give you anything to do but entertain each other, and you color and you play and you clown around, because the belief was there ain't gonna be nothing.